Hello everyone, welcome to our very first QA with Dynamight Studios and Gamigo. We hope you're all having a fantastic weekend so far. Happy Saturday. My name is Kinsale. I will be your host for today. I'm also a social media manager at Gamigo. I am accompanied today by Dynamight Studios CEO Jacopo Pietro and Gamigo's executive producer Wes Connor. Say hello everyone. Oh, you're muted, Jacopo. The button.
Terrible start.
There you go.
Hey there, everybody. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Awesome. Everybody can hear us all right? We are good to go. Welcome to all the new names that I see on chat. Awesome, most excellent.
All the new ones and the old ones, which I can see many old faces.
Perfect. All right, guys. So our Q&A. Recent announcements have given you all quite a big surprise. For those who might not know, the news that were shared is that Fractured, now known as Fracture Online, has partnered with Gamigo for its publishing. This has raised many questions among all of you and some concerns. So we have collected a good portion of all of your questions and we will actually be answering them today. If your question is not answered, please do not worry. We will continue to answer them as time progresses. So make sure you join Fractured Discord and make sure you put them in the specific channel that they have for all the questions. So without further ado, let's get to it. You boys ready? You boys ready?
Feedback in the stream says that Jacopo might be a little on the quiet side. Can we turn up his volume a little?
Even more than this? So I can turn it up on my side even more?
Yes.
20 more decibels.
Okay, even more than that. The plus 20 decibel was not enough. Is it good?
Sounds good to me. Chat, how's it look?
Is it good for you guys? Yeah?
Okay, if I keep raising it, it's going to start clipping eventually.
I think now it's a lot better. Yes, everybody's saying it's better. Excellent. Okay,
right, cool.
Okay, good.
So let's go. First question. What does the Dynamight and Gamigo partnership mean for the vision of Fractured?
Well, I guess I kind of replied to this one already in my previous video, so if you haven't watched it, have a look on our YouTube channel. But basically, it means nothing bad. I mean, nothing is changing in the vision of the game. As I said, the history between us and Gamigo goes back a long way from late 2017, and they always liked the vision of Fractured a lot in all its declinations, the PvP, the 3 races, the sandbox nature of the game, everything. So we've always been very aligned on what the game is meant to be, and we still are. So if anything, we will be able to deliver on this vision way faster than we would have been without the support of Gamigo.
All right. Will Dynamight retain the rights of Fracture if it proves to be not profitable?
Oh, that's a tricky one. As with most publishing contracts, just standard stuff, there are clauses that allow both parties to exit the contract, including clauses related to profitability, of course. In case we exit the contract with Gamigo, we will retain the ownership of the game and of the IP. Absolutely.
Can the community expect a faster release of Fracture with Gamigo's partnership?
Yes, and well, I guess as I said, the objective here is the end of 2022. And that's not something I guess the community expected. Like, I guess we started mentioning it in the last few days since we announced the partnership, and I think that many of our community members expected a release date more like in 2023, even 2024, looking at the speed, the development speed of the last 2 years, since we still have to implement the Beastman planet and the Demon planet, so there's a lot of stuff. But actually, since the team has grown and will grow even more compared to how it used to be, we will be able to deliver it much faster. And as of today, the idea is to deliver in the full release in the end of 2022. That's not guaranteed, of course, because everyone knows in development everything can happen, but that's the idea. And we will be able to release a more detailed roadmap in the next few weeks, both towards the next test and towards the whole 2022.
Amazing. Does Dynamight have creative control, specifically the monetization model?
Yes, that's one of the most asked questions. We do have it. I guess we can kind of merge this question with many others, asking like who owns the IP of the game, who has the ownership of the IP. That's in Dynamite's hand. That's still ours, and therefore the whole development of the game is including monetization. Now, of course, you're going to. I know what what you're going to think, or some of you what are going to think, which is, does Gamigo have no say on monetization whatsoever? No, of course not. Of course, decision on monetization, on where to start the next testing phase, when to do marketing campaigns, and so on. There are many things where we decide together. There's a constant stream of feedback between us and Gamigo, and of course, monetization is one of those topics. The thing is, both us and Gamigo are aligned on the vision that Fracture should not be a pay-to-win game or contain heavy monetization elements. So when we started discussing the partnership with Gamigo, we discussed about buy-to-play business model. We discussed the VIP, the store for cosmetics. That's what we told Gamigo that we would have. That has always been our plan, and they said, "Fine, okay, that's good." So yeah, we've been aligned way before signing the contract, for all the years that we discussed before actually signing a contract. So we, as I said, there's of course going to be reciprocal feedback between us and Gamigo, but that will not get the game away from what the plan has always been for monetization.
What does Gamigo gain from this partnership?
Take that one.
Yeah, you can take the one.
All right, so Gamigo has the distribution rights for Fractured. That's global distribution rights. That means that we're going to be working to serve the game all across the world in multiple locas, etc. What we get out of it is a portion of the profits from the games that we distribute. So we work hand in hand with Jacopo, and as he said, we really do support his vision of the game. We have followed Fractured for years, and we're excited to work with him to support the vision that we've already seen, that he's already brought to alpha, and that we're working to bring, well, to you guys next year. So yeah, Gamigo, we get a portion of the profit from the distribution.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know the next question is almost like the one that was just done before, but the press release from Gamigo states that they have worldwide IP rights. Does this mean that Gamigo owns the Fracture IP? Okay,
this question's very, very clear. We have the worldwide distribution rights. That is distribution rights to the IP, meaning that we get to sell the IP in the various regions. But no, we do not own the IP. And as Jacopo said, upon a contract exit, Dynamight will still retain full ownership of the IP of Fractured.
Great. What is the support from Gamigo? Does it permit seeking outside funding?
I can take that one. Yeah, it does, absolutely. Yes, we're not constrained. Of course, we cannot have another publisher because we have a deal with Gamigo, and the global distribution rights now belong to Gamigo by our contract. But we can seek funding in any way we can. We can do another rounds of investment like we did this summer with investors investing in the capital, buying shares of Dynamight Studios, for instance, or other avenues through which collecting capitals. Everything is open. It's just the distribution rights that belong to Gamigo, and the partnership with the publisher. The publisher is Gamigo. That's it.
Excellent. What is Gamigo's plan if Fracture doesn't meet profit expectations?
So if I can take that one, if Gamigo, honestly, that question's a bit out of scope. So let me explain. We're working with Jacopo right now. We're building timelines, we're working on milestones, and we're coordinating to see everything that is planned between now and launch and to bring that out into delivery and afterwards. And that's an ongoing live process. I talk to him almost every day at this point, and we work on the timeline that's scheduled for development. As we move forward and as these features come out, they'll be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. They'll go back into development. That's the purpose of the alpha and beta phase. If we get to a stage suddenly to where it's not profitable, time must have jumped forward in an unbelievable way. This is a back and forth live process, and it'll continue to be. If we do reach a stage, unfortunately, to where it just seems like the game isn't going to work, well, then of course the contract would be terminated. And at that stage, Dynamight and Jacopo would, again, retain the IP rights to the whole Fractured game.
Yeah, I guess that many of the public, people here in the public are not used to Gamigo acquiring the distribution rights and signing a partnership with a game that is in development instead of being already released. But I guess this is common practice when you make a deal with a game in development. Oh, also, by the way, you please let me know if I'm breaking up, because it's been a few days since my internet stops working properly around, say, 6-7 p.m. So in case that happens, you let me know immediately, and I'm going to switch to the mobile connection.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, so will Fracture be IP blocked? If yes, in what regions? What languages will Fracture be translated to?
All right, global publishing rights. We don't want to IP block this game. We have no plans to IP block the game. And as far as localization for in-game, English, German, and French are currently planned and for launch. And following launch, as the game grows and we see the communities that take to the game, we can expand that localization to support them as well.
Excellent. So tell everybody, guys, if you want it in your language, just gotta play. You gotta play. Will Dynamight ever support a plan for free-to-play or adding pay-to-win features for Fracture?
Well, I guess I've already replied to this one in many ways. No, that's we have no plan of adding pay-to-win or heavy monetization of any kind. The only thing that is not purely cosmetic is the VIP subscription. We've always been very open regarding that one. But it's, you remember that we, even in Kickstarter days, we used to talk about people with VIP having a couple more slots to study more abilities at the same time. That is no longer a feature of the game at all, so that is gone, obviously, from the VIP subscription. If anything, the VIP subscription is going to contain something akin to that, so that can give a slight boost to progression, or what you would call minor convenience features, but nothing that would really make a player playing with VIP more competitive than a player playing without VIP.
If we purchase a Founders Pack already, will we still get the same items now that Dynamight is partnered with Gamigo, including lifetime VIP?
Yes, absolutely. Everything you purchased from the Kickstarter until today, and what you will continue to purchase in the next days from our store, which eventually, I guess, is going to be migrated to a new web page and so on. But right now, you're still purchasing directly from Dynamight. And that's all going to be transferred to the new account system. Whatever happens in the future, you're going to retain 100% of what you purchased, each single Dynamight token, month of VIP subscription, including lifetime VIP subscription. What I cannot guarantee is that in the future, lifetime VIP subscription is going to be always available, of course, because that's something that we could stop selling in the future. But I guess you knew that already, right? The current founder packs are one thing. They may be changed in the future. I think we stated that many times, so it should be no surprise. But whatever you purchase in these founder packs is going to be your right forever for your account.
Awesome. Why choose Gamigo as Fracture's publisher?
Oh, I guess I could send you to watch the video also regarding this one. The reason was that, as I said, they were the first publisher that contacted us. So this is one thing. We've been working, as I said, talking with them for a very long time. they've given us a lot of feedback, and they've always been very aligned and enjoying the appreciating the concept behind Fractured a lot. And this has really mattered, in our process. Oh, just one second. I need to mute the Discord because it's making a lot of noise. Just one second. I'm gonna mute. Oh, do I mute myself this way? How do I mute my Discord? Yeah, I'm always coming unprepared to the Q&As, huh? Well, you saw, by the way, you already saw a big difference, right? Between, now that we're working with a German company, Q&A was meant to start at 7 p.m. It actually started at 7 p.m. That's big news, huh? If you've been following us for a while, you should know this is really new. So as I was saying, yes, being in touch for a long time with Gamigo. Then also the fact that Gamigo is a publisher focused on MMORPGs. They have a big expertise on MMORPGs. They have really done MMORPGs for what 2 decades? I don't know, 15 years, a long time. We had during these whole discussions, I had the time to talk with a lot of people within Gamigo, marketing department, social media, PR, producers, tech guys, many tech guys too, business intelligence, a ton of people. Like, they really have a huge staff, and this whole huge staff is all there supporting Fractured. That's huge. It's like it's like having 20 more people in the team. In a way, there are just people at Gamigo doing different things for Fractured. Of course, not only for Fractured, but also for Fractured. And this is huge. So they have these huge resources that they are putting, both like financial, because we had a very good financing deal, but also human resources. People, very nice people and very skilled people. Helping us grow the game and manage the game, the community, the press, and whatnot. And the last thing is, which I've mentioned also in the video, was that on a human level, we have connected. We've always connected very well. Starting from the first person I spoke to, which is the one that followed the agreement, the deal, and after that with all the people that I had the chance to work with in the last 4 months. Including the people here in the Q&A, of course.
You're too kind.
Nice to truth. What does the Gamigo announcement mean for Fracture's player base?
Can you come again? You broke up, the connection broke for a second.
Oh, sorry. What does the Gamigo announcement mean for Fracture's player base?
I guess nothing in particular. I guess. I mean, you can keep playing the game as you've always done. We're still not sure whether the next testing phase is going to be live 24/7 or it's going to be again limited in time, and then we're going to be live 24/7. So we still have to decide on that. But I guess that's nothing different from if we had been alone. The biggest thing that you're going to perceive probably is, I guess, 2 things. One thing is feature coming faster because the team has grown a lot. By the way, I can give you a nice spoiler now. The next testing phase is going to feature a new continent, so big things. Also looking a lot better than the previous one. So I'm sure you will appreciate that. So you will see, the speed at which we can deliver new content is going to be higher. The quality of the content also is higher because we have hired 2 character artists. We're going to hire an environment artist, sound designer, an animator. Actually, the animator should be hired soon. Finding an animator in Italy apparently is a pain. But so we are hiring a lot of people, and you're going to see the quality of the game increase and the speed at which we deliver new features and contents increase. And you'll finally have 1 or more community managers active, ready to reply to your question on Discord, on the forums, social media, and so on. I think that is also going to be big for the community because I have admittedly been lacking in communication and with the community in the last, I guess, in 2021 in general, outside of the testing phases or the weeks before the testing phase, but in the couple of months that has passed between testing phases, it's been really hard for me to manage to follow the development of the game as internally as a producer, and team lead, manage the growth of the company and all the investment and contracts and everything and so on. And together with that, managing also the community and talking with the community. That's something that a community manager is meant to do. That's a full-time job, and I didn't have time for that. We didn't have the money to hire a dedicated community manager also. So we've always been really sorry that we haven't managed to communicate as well as we have done previously during more or less the whole of 2021. Now there's going to be a lot of communication, more from my side too, but mostly from Gamigo, and of course the community managers from Gamigo are always in touch with me, so it's going to be good. You're going to love it.
Has it also helped registrations and new accounts?
Yes, actually, I think, how many accounts did we get? Like 4,000 or 5,000 new accounts since we announced the partnership, and a consequential amount of sales, which is a lot for just like 3 days for our standards, you know. And this was without marketing, just with the buzz generated in the press, I guess, talking about our partnership. So it was more like organic growth in the number of accounts. And then in the future there are also going to be marketing campaigns, of course. It's going to take a while for those, I guess, because we need to polish the game more, probably have the Beastman planets, Arboreos, so before we start before Gamigo starts pushing money into marketing. But once that starts, there are going to be a lot more players. I guess a rate of growth in the number of registered accounts that Fractures has never seen in its 4 years of development.
That is great to hear. Wes, what is Gamigo's long-term vision for Fractured?
That one's pretty straightforward and easy. Our vision for Fractured is what Jacopo has shown us. We've been following this game for years, and I mean, again, as recently as this week, we've sat down and looked at the design and the development that's planned, and we're in sync. We want the same things, the same systems. We're excited to see Arboreus come out. We're excited to see the next content come to Syndasia, sorry. And overall, we want what we have seen. We're not here to change the vision of Fractured. That's not what we want to do. Jacopo has had a strong vision from the beginning, and we're here to help deliver that. Our job is to empower the Dynamight team, and I'm really excited to do that. Our vision is his vision.
Such a wonderful vision it is. How can the players have confidence that Dynamight retains control over Fracture's direction and monetization? Very, very repeated question, but...
Yeah, how can the community have confidence? I guess you gotta trust me for now, and then you're going. And well, obviously, I cannot release the contract because that is under NDA, like pretty much every contract of this kind. So for now, you have to trust my word and the word of Gamigo. But you're going to see that in practice playing out in the next few months. So time will prove it to you. And I know it's maybe not your dream answer, but I'm putting my reputation, you know, and I'm giving you my word and putting my own reputation at stake here. That's how it's going to be.
When can we expect alpha, beta, and launch to happen?
As I said, the next testing phase is going to be in the beginning, first quarter of 2022. That's set. There's no doubt we're going to start there. Not January for sure. February or March, that's the idea, and it should happen there unless there's something dramatic, like tragic issues in development happen, but otherwise it should be there. Whether it's alpha or beta, we'll see. It's still undecided. Beta, just to give you very rough estimates, you should not take them as granted because everything can happen. Beta in the first half of 2022 and full release in the second half of 2022. But as I said, it can change. Full release could be 2023. That's, as I said, nobody can guarantee anything when it comes to this stuff. We will announce the official launch date only when we are getting pretty close to it. The development of the game is completely done, tested, everything, and only then we will announce the day of launch.
Will there be more servers in the upcoming tests to handle the influx of new players?
In theory, not. The plan is just to have the one server, one global server which has now 2 continents. So second continent is again 40 square kilometers, lots of housing plots, a lot of cities. So pretty large. Viking theme, northern theme. Second spoiler. But otherwise, it's going to be there's going to be more room for players, of course. Consider that also given to the way Spatial OS works, 2 continents are like 2 different clusters of servers, so it's not like there's a big infrastructure that should be able to host hundreds and hundreds of players within the same continent, so that shouldn't be a problem. What could be a problem, as I think somebody pointed out in the questions, won't the areas be too crowded? I think somebody said, what if there are 400 players in the Goblin Hills? Now, of course, there are not meant to be 400 players in the Goblin Hills. So that would mean that we have like 5,000 players in the continent of Mir, which is obviously shouldn't happen. If we get to that point where we get such a huge influx of players that they don't fit the 2 continents, our plan as Dynamight was to split US and EU, and I think that also we never discussed it in detail, but that would be the idea. So duplicate the 2 servers having 2 worlds, both containing both continents, one in EU and one for US players. I guess that would be the first step. But as I said, with all the new points of interest that we are adding to the existing continents, with the big infrastructure updates with Spatial OS that we have done in the last couple of months, that has improved the performance like 10 times of the backend, and with the fact that we now have 2 continents, we still hope to have all the players within one universe, so one shard.
Excellent. Will Fracture still be releasing on Steam? Will it use the Glyph Launcher or any other launcher?
So launching on Steam, yes, absolutely. This is still the plan. When exactly, we don't know. Could be an early access before full release. Could be at full release. Could be sometime after full release. We don't know yet. Even as Dynamight, our plan for Steam was always, let's wait and see. Let's wait to see how much we can do without Steam, because of course Steam takes a big cut out of the revenues of developers. 30%, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. So the more you go on without Steam, the better it is as a developer, of course. But eventually, of course, you kind of have to go to Steam because of all the users that it can bring and the big Steam community and so on. But when exactly that is going to happen, so don't know, but it is going to happen. And when that happens, you're going to be able to launch the game through Steam.
All right. How will refunds requests be handled?
Now we're getting to the refund request question, the tough one. This one, I probably have bad news for you. We don't want, and by the way, this is not a Gamigo decision. This is a decision from Dynamight, because we are the ones that received the money in the last 3 years of development, Kickstarter and then forward, and we are the ones granting refunds. Actually, me in person, I go on the console and add refund here, refund there. And we are not going to do refunds outside of our regular terms of service. So if you've never played, if you purchase the game in the last 14 days, we do a full refund, whether you've played or not. Well, obviously now you haven't played because there is no testing phase. Often we also grant, even if though it's not in our terms of service, we have always also granted refunds to people who have purchased the game before the last testing phase, so after the last testing phase, so in a dead period. There would be people who purchased the game in October, November, December, when the game was not playable, and so they purchased the game, but they have never actually used their founder pack that they purchased. Even though that is not in our terms of service, we have always granted refunds to people who asked that, who said, hey, I never played the game and I don't want to play it anymore. Do you give me a refund? In that case, we do give refunds. We will also give refunds maybe to players who have purchased before the last testing phase, but have never played in the last testing phase. So again, people who bought the game and never played it. We will do that. We will not give refunds to players who have purchased the game 2 years ago, played multiple times, and now say, I want a refund because I don't like the fact that you found the publisher or that the publisher is Gamigo. Because as I said, the development of the game is not going to change. Nothing is going to change for you, and the fact that some of you, and it's actually a minority because we've received only a handful of refunds requests, is don't like it, is not ground for asking for a refund. So I'm sorry, but I have to be very clear on that.
All right. This is about art. Will we see more of Michele's art? Or maybe I'm totally destroying their name. The latest art.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Michele is a French girl, and Michele is an Italian boy. So yes, Michele's art. One thing you should know about Michele's art is that there's been a recurring joke, like in the first year of Dynamight Studios, where Michele always wanted to make new art and said like, oh, now I'm going to make a new illustration for Fractured. Next week I should have time to make a new illustration for Fractured. And he never ever had time to make the new illustration for Fractured. And that's been like that for 3 years because he's the art director. So he transitioned from, well, he's always been the art director, but in the beginning, hey, it was me, Andrea, the game designer, and Michele, the art director. So it was 3 people. So actually, neither of us was directing anyone. And back then he had time to do this, and but after that, once the team has grown and he actually transitioned is the proper role as art director, and also doing 3D art and concept art and so on. He never ever had time to do illustration, and he doesn't expect to have time to do any illustration in the future, even though he likes to do that a lot. It's like I like to code, but I don't have time to code anymore because I transitioned definitely to a different role, and he doesn't have time to do illustrations anymore. So there's going to be new illustrations, but they will be done by other artists who are not Michele. I'm sorry for the Michele lovers. I like Michele's art a lot too, of course, but yeah, sadly it cannot be.
Will a console version be released for Fractured?
I will give this one to Wes.
So console isn't off the table, but that's not on the radar at the moment. We're focused on the PC release. We'll have that come out, see how it's doing, get service stable, and then depending on what we see, what the response is, and where the community is indicating, we can look at that. It's an option, but it's not on our radar at this stage.
Alrighty. Will Gamigo intervene negatively in the translation of the game to other languages like Spanish and French?
I think we've already seen this question. This question is pretty hilarious. I think that the problem in this question was actually more like a language barrier I think the person who asked the question is not a native English speaker, but the question, will Gamigo intervene negatively in the translation, is actually pretty hilarious. But no, I guess if anything, it's going to intervene positively, because if we had been by ourselves, we would have come up with a sensible amount of resources to make the translations of the game. The game itself technically is translation ready, so you can actually it's ready to be translated, right? So everything is dynamic and can be changed dynamically. But paying people to translate, good studios, translation studios, and so professionals, is not cheap. So if it had been us, we maybe would have had to do it like over a longer period of time. Gamigo has the resources to do more earlier than we would have had.
All right. When will we get Steam keys?
I don't know if I know exactly the integration with Steam accounts is going to work, but as I said, I guess this is the same question as before. We don't know exactly when we're going to go on Steam. When that happens, your current account is going to be able to get access playing through Steam.
Excellent. Well, now we technically have a little bit of time if anybody in chat actually has any questions that have not previously been answered. If they have, I will simply redirect you guys to like catch up the VOD once we are done. But if any new questions are among your beautiful brains, please write them in chat and we will do our best to answer them with the time that we still have.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat too now. Should I just read the chat and come up with some answers?
Well, if you have the answers for it, definitely.
Oh yeah, I have all the answers. Okay, how far back can I go in the chat? I don't think I can scroll up. I think I can only scroll up to a point, or is there something about Twitch that I'm missing? So I'm not a big Twitch expert, I guess. So the first question, as I can see, is actually from Hamboski. Let's be honest, guys. Has anything, Jacopo, are you gonna keep your full dev rights? So this question have already been asked. That's the first question that I can see. Mr. Flacco got messages deleted by moderator. Flacco, please. Quiet. So let's see. Strategy. Yeah, somebody is asking. So Garant. I don't know if you're that Garant, as in the Spanish Garant, but if so, hi. Is the strategy? What is the strategy following the imminent loss of players that will be that will affect Fractured due to the partnership with Gamigo? We haven't lost players. I mean, I guess, of course, when you announce a deal with the publisher, you do lose some players, but so far, in no significant amount. Like there's been, admittedly, a significant amount of noise on the forums and talks and so on. No actual significant loss of players of any kind. On the contrary, we have actually acquired, as I said before, a lot of players just due to the announcement of the partnership with Gamigo. 4,500 accounts, more or less, just because of the announcement, which is a lot for our standards. And with marketing and all the updates that we have in store for the next months, we're going to acquire a lot more. So there's no imminent loss. Otherwise, we wouldn't have signed the deal with Gamigo if there was meant to be an imminent loss of players. Okay, this one has already been asked. Mr. Flacco again. Let's see. Yeah, one thing that I can see asked a lot and mentioned a lot in the chat is that what is Gamigo, like the case of Gamigo publishing Fractured is different from other cases of Gamigo or other publisher buying games that have been released, already released, or they've been in full release for a few years and so on. And this is a completely different case. This is a deal that Gamigo has made with a game that is currently still in development. So Fractured is not an old game that has been released in 2015. You know, it's like you're comparing apples and bananas. Do you say that in English?
Apples and oranges, but close enough.
Okay. I guess they are, though. I guess they are even more different.
Exactly.
Oh, so then, okay. See if there are other questions. Dorian is asking, can we have more persistent alpha beta phases where we don't have to start all over from zero? As I said, yeah, it's an ongoing talk. We would like to be able to get the game playable 24/7 as soon as possible, because we know we've seen it in the last test. We've spoken with you, many of you read your feedback and so on, talked in person with community, with the guild leaders and so on. There's been a lot of feedback from the user base that you want to be able to play 24/7, and we really want you to be able to play 24/7. Also, we want ourselves to be able to play 24/7 Fractured instead of getting my own progress wiped every month. The thing is, because yes, I do play as a regular player in secret. You never know who I am. The thing is, the game needs to be polished, bug free, with a good progression. The system needs to be well defined and not likely to change, because once we go live 24/7, we may still do wipes. For instance, one wipe before full release. That's something that you would expect. That's actually a good thing to have, a wipe before full release. But during the beta phase, during the months of beta, there should be no wipes, so you can, experience the full degree of progression and actually truly engage with the game without holding back because you think, oh my god, in 1 month everything is going to be wiped. But the game needs to be in a really good state for that, because if there are systems that are still a bit shaky or whatever, and then we do need to do a full wipe, yeah, we don't want to say after 1 month that you've played saying, oh look, there's been a dupe bug and people have duplicated 10 billions of gold and now we need to do a full wipe. I guess most of the players will accept it because then they know it's a possibility when you're playing a beta. But it would be ugly, so we don't want to do it. And this is the only reason why we haven't gone live 24/7 yet. But we really hope we will be able to do it as soon as possible. Maybe already in Q1 2022, maybe a bit later, but we're getting there. Some people saying that some questions in the Discord forums have been ignored on purpose. If you have, we really haven't ignored any question. We picked them all, and we're trying to merge them together if they were too similar to each other. But if there's anything we missed, feel free to repost them here in the chat. Oh, has Wes had the chance to play Fractured? What are his favorite skill sets?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wes from Black Desert. Wes, this is for you.
Absolutely.
You Wes from Black Desert?
Yes, I am Wes from Black Desert, and I have played Fractured. Most recently, I've been playing as a mage, and I'm enjoying trying out a couple different PvP builds, playing with another friend in the company. Like Magic Missile, Ice Spike, Acid Sphere, and then like Relocate and Stun. It's short, dirty, and to the point, but...
No, you're playing with the lame build. No, please, not you too.
Oh, come on. Flavor of the month is always fun. Let's try it.
The stun, teleport, ice spikes, word of power, kill combo.
It's always worth a shot.
Ugliest combo in the game. Thumbs down.
Oh. Talk to the designers.
Okay, again, the loss of players question is the same as before. Let's see. I'm still scrolling the chat.
We got asked if we had a content creation planned, which already is in place, as far as I'm aware, in the website.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have like, I don't know if there's anything public on the website or anything. We do have, I mean, our old map that we published in the Kickstarter date is, in the days of Kickstarter, is super outdated. So we totally need to put out a new roadmap for 2022 with all the, everything that we've planned. Between us and Gamigo, even before signing a contract, we have created a plan with milestones from the moment we signed until full release. I guess this is just the ABC of contracts between developers and publishers, right? So you create roadmaps with milestones. Other than that, we have also made not exactly milestones, but a long-term plan for after full release. And by long-term plan, I mean like a huge list of things that can be added after full release, going over 2023, 2024, and a very long-term plan is there already. Until full release is very precisely fleshed out. After full release, it's looser, but it's there for a very long time. Let's see. Human breeding. That is not a feature, Mr. Green. It's not a game feature. I know Gamigo has its own CC program, so I'm wondering if they plan to do here like they did for AAU. What is a CC program? I assume it's not a crowd control program. That would be pretty fun though. Are you talking about a launcher? Hamboski, it's a question from Hamboski. I assume that you're talking about the launcher of the game. Once we are not transitioning a lot of tech systems from our own to Gamigo, once that is done, you will no longer launch the game through our current launcher, which by the way is sometimes buggy, not the best launcher in the world, admittedly. But you're going to launch it through Glyph, which is Gamigo's launcher, which is better than Fracture's launcher. Okay. Until now you have been transparent in everything. Now more than ever you have to be. Fracture continue with the guidelines proposed so far. The question is a bit vague, but yes, we will have roadmap. We will follow our roadmaps. So yeah, the roadmap that you know more or less already towards full release with the Beastmen and the Demons and so on, it's still our roadmap. Let's see. I think I'm almost at the end of the chat.
You're getting there.
Okay, I guess there is something for Wes in the end of the chat.
A question for those responsible?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so the question is a question for those responsible at Gamigo. Have you ever worked on a game like Fractured, and even less buy to play? And what is the goal to bring the project to fruition, and even more to monetize it in a logical way that continues to grow and does not disappear? All right, multi-layered question. Has anyone at Gamigo worked on a game like Fractured before? Yes, most definitely. But keep in mind, this is a distribution deal, and that we're working with Gamigo to deliver their idea and their visions. And to that end, we are actively working to figure out how we want to develop and design the actual cash shop itself, and working with Jacopo to figure out what's going to go in it and fits within the game world. At the end of the day, he is the developer. He'll develop the items, and then the items are monetized and sold, whether they're cosmetics or whatever it is. Our plan is to support Dynamite's vision. I'll keep driving that one home, team.
There's another question for you, Wes, right at the end of the chat.
What features is he looking forward to? What would you change currently?
I'm looking for that one. Let me scroll.
It's right on the bottom.
My most desired feature is being able to have forced movement, so I can hold the control button and click where I want my character to move and not accidentally target the wrong thing and start attacking the wrong thing and screw up my entire battle plan and die.
Yeah. Actually, my internet broke down, but among the things I understood is like mis-targeting, so I assume that you said something about targeting plants. So yes, we will have the button, so you can switch to combat mode. And not target plants. It's I know the community has been asking for that for a long time. It's coming. I promise you next test the button is there.
Last one says, why do we seem to have names or different names every time? My name's always Wes, has been very long time. It's on my government ID and everything.
My online handle is always Kinsale. The only other name that might be seen is Nenyan, because that used to be my community manager name. So some games know me as that. But overall, this is always my name. And Jacopo is Jacopo, unless he's Prometheus. But that's pretty much it.
Oh, Flacco has asked, when can we see the demon? Can we see the demon in the next test? Maybe. No, the next test will not have demons. The next test will also not have beastmen. The new continent is the human continent. I guess you figured that out already when I said that it's Nordic and cold. It's the continent to the north of Mir. you're going to be able to travel there through the docks, the harbors that you've already used to travel, to fast travel through the shores of the continent of Mir, and you're going to use these harbors to travel to the other continent. So you can choose on what continent you can start, and then you can travel one way or the other. It's still humans. Then it's beastmen, and demons is last. And the reason is that, as you can imagine, the human planet already has a lot of PvP. So if you like PvP, you can join the human planet for open world PvP, the sieges, the raids, and all that stuff. But the people who really don't like PvP, they don't like to play on Syndesia, even with the criminal system. So the people who really hate PvP, they need their safe haven, which is the Beastman world. So that has priority compared to the demons. And then there is, when will fishing be added? Well, we're no longer talking about gamigo, I guess, in here. I don't know. I can't really tell you that. It's not a priority for now, so not before full release. But after, it's one of the many features that are on our list. It's actually, fishing was part of our stretch goals on Kickstarter, I think, together with animal taming and a couple other things. So this is all things that are very good content for game expansions after release, like major patches. And I guess
seems like that last
somebody's asking.
Yeah. Spells.
Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, I think we're pretty. I think we're pretty good. Will we get the implementation that the spells interact with the environment? There's going to take a while for that thing to implement, because we're trying to finish all the other features like the Beastmen and the Demons first, which are more important. But we will get there eventually. It's also technically very complicated. That's the reason why we still haven't gotten to the environmental effects yet. But we're going to get there eventually. Dual daggers. If we implement dual daggers, it's going to be like you have an item that is called dual daggers. So you actually have two daggers, but it's one single item. Rather than actually being able to choose what item you put in your right hand and what item you put in your left hand. Because then initially we had this plan of like, hey, we allow a player to have a dagger in the right hand and a mace in the left hand. But then it actually, from a design standpoint and also animation standpoint, for many reasons that didn't actually work well. So when we're going to do it, not a priority, we're going to do it so that you have items that are weapons that take both hands, that are like a unique type of two-handed weapon, right? So it's not exactly dual wielding. So considering there is already a plan for after release, how long do the contractual commitments with the publishers last?
It's a renewable type of affair.
Okay. Oh, my internet broke down again. Sorry, Wes. What did you say?
It's a renewable type of arrangement.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about the milestones, they go up until full release, as it's normal in these cases. But the commitment is a very long time one with the publisher.
Plan on working on this game with Jacopo for quite a while.
Yeah, quite a few years. Many years, probably. Hopefully, because
franchise, please.
I think we have time for one or two more.
Yeah, I think we can stop at 8, so it's good. We still have a few minutes.
Okay.
When do we get the new builds ready on Glyph? Accounts need to be transferred. This one is for Wes.
Yes, there will be an account transfer process, but I'm more focused on the actual development of the game. I'll have a meeting next week and talk to IT and find out more about that, but it's not the heaviest thing on my list at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to be an account migration eventually, of course. But it's going to be very simple.
Mm-hmm. Click confirm, account moved type of situation.
How long there will be financial support from Gamigo after release? I cannot give you the details of that from the contract. There is going to be, there's a very good agreement for us. And also consider that Gamigo doesn't, as Wes said in the beginning, Gamigo doesn't take 100% of the revenues of the game. The revenues of the game, as it's normal within this type of contract, just standard stuff, are split between us and Gamigo. So we keep selling the game, whatever, either the sales of founder packs or copies of the game, the cosmetic store, the VIP subscription, all the revenues are split between us and Gamigo. So that's what it's meant to, you know, sustain us after release. It's selling the game. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a very good game.
Excellent.
There's a question on what's our main marketing plan to publicize Fractured. The marketing plan isn't concrete at this time, and again, a little bit outside of where my focus is, but we are working close with Jacopo. We're identifying the keys, the unique selling points of the game, the things that make Fractured, from its isometric view to its horizontal progression to the sieges. And all of that will be bundled up, packaged together, and put into a short-term and long-term marketing plan. But that's not finished at this stage. We're still working with Jacopo on it. He has to point us in the right direction.
Yeah. When can we get some NFT drops? As I told you, the Stressed Prometheus' collection is coming soon. So it's there was another nice question somewhere. I have missed it. Oh, by the way, regarding the marketing plan, just to give you an idea to everyone watching, we never had the time or the skills and the expertise within the company to make a real marketing plan. But we have already received a lot of feedback on that kind from Gamigo. Actually, Wes probably doesn't know because it's not exactly what he's doing with us. But we have received like mountains of marketing strategy plans already. Like I think just yesterday or 3 days ago, I received the file with 106 slides of marketing strategy. So now I have to read through all that stuff every day. Where that goes from the broad concepts to what are the best colors for the promotional art of the game. And this is actually, jokes aside, this is very good stuff because this is the thing that we really need, and we really would never have been able to do ourselves. We just didn't even know where to begin.
I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I
think so, yeah. All right, guys, as I mentioned earlier, for any more questions, please make sure to join our Discord, forums, everywhere you can pretty much drop a question. Make sure you do so. We will continue to collect them, and due time we'll continue to answer them. So thanks everybody for your support, your commitment, and of course your questions. We hope you continue to enjoy Fracture Online as it continues to progress in the future. So make sure to stay in touch with our news and announcements. Just to give you a little bit of a sight of what's to come, we plan to make sure to keep you guys updated particularly regularly with dev diaries, among regular videos as much as possible. We'll, of course, as Jacopo mentioned, you guys will have new community managers, which one of them is already here with us. And he will make sure to also be communicating with you guys fairly constant, so make sure to just poke him around. But remember that he'll be also busy trying to make sure that everything is going as planned for Fracture Online. However, we hope you have an amazing holiday, stay safe, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, Jacopo and Wes. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks to you, and thanks to everyone who's been here with us today. It's really nice to be able to do this kind of Q&A again. It's been so long since I made the last one. It's awesome to be in touch this way again.
We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Have a nice weekend.